We present the first probabilistic method for shortest path tractography. This models local diffusion using a random Riemannian metric and computes shortest paths using probabilistic numerics. But let us first review the basics of diffusion-based tractography. The MR scanner measures diffusion strength in a fixed set of directions. This gives a voxel grid with measures of diffusion strengths in many directions in each voxel. Diffusion-weighted imaging assumes that water diffuses along brain fibers, not across. Tractography is the task of finding the most likely diffusion paths. Walk-based tractography methods make local decisions about the shape of the most likely diffusion paths. In contrast, shortest path methods optimize a globally defined energy for the most likely diffusion path connecting known endpoints. Both walk-based methods and shortest path methods have strengths and weaknesses depending on the application. Shortest path methods are generally unable to model the noise in the data. Here, we show how to extend shortest path methods to handle noisy diffusion data. First, we recap the model underlying shortest path methods. At each voxel, the diffusion process is approximated with the Gaussian covariance, inducing a local Mahalanobis distance. This field of local distance measures defines a Riemannian metric. Tractography then reduces to computing shortest paths under the Riemannian metric. Shortest paths are defined as minimizers of a global energy and can be found numerically by solving a second-order differential equation. Note how the gamma parameters of the differential equation depend on the local distance measure derived from the diffusion data. At this point, we just need to know how to solve differential equations. Numerical solvers for differential equations evaluate the differential equation at select points, giving observations of the derivative of the sought path. From these, the path is estimated using nonlinear regression. Here we use Gaussian process regression, which is flexible and provides well-calibrated error estimates. This approach allows us to estimate most likely paths between known endpoints. This, however, assumes a fully deterministic distance measure, which is a poor modeling choice as the local distance measures are derived from very noisy diffusion data. To quantify uncertainty, we subsample the diffusion directions and estimate a field of diffusion tensors for each subsample. For each subsample, we estimate the gamma coefficients of the differential equation, and we estimate the mean and variance of these gamma coefficients. From this, we can make a Gaussian approximation of the differential equation. As the numerical differential equation solver builds on repeated Gaussian process regression, we can adapt it to allow for Gaussian noise when we evaluate the differential equation. This gives us a numerical scheme for finding shortest paths, which takes the noise of the diffusion data into account. Our algorithm does not return the shortest path, but a posterior Gaussian process which is a distribution over shortest paths. We show the uncertainty of the solution by sampling from this Gaussian process. Note that the uncertain tract estimate, as opposed to standard spaghetti plots, emphasizes that the tract is not a brain fiber, it's an uncertain estimate of a brain fiber. We observe that the uncertainty of estimated paths is strongly related to noise in the diffusion data. Here we show the posterior distribution of a single path. Note how the segment of the path inside the blue box is much more uncertain than the rest of the path. This is also where the diffusion data is the most uncertain. We compare generated heat maps of two known tracts with those attained via Dijkstra's algorithm, and observe that our approach gives more crisp and coherent heat maps. In summary, we contribute a random Riemannian metric estimated from diffusion data, giving a DTI formulation where the diffusion tensor is a stochastic variable. A probabilistic numerics shortest path solver that returns a distribution over estimated shortest paths. The estimated uncertainty of the tract does not propagate with distance to the seed point, but depends on the local uncertainty in the data. The developed ODE solver is applicable to other problems. Please see the paper for details, derivations, and further results.